Can the Big Four keep winning? So this article looks at who are the Big Four, why are they winning, why are they so strong in their market at the moment, and then considering that, all the issues that they actually face in that market, and then later on we look at what are they going to do to keep that moving forward. So the Big Four, they consist of Deloitte, PwC, EY, and KPMG, and to combine they have a revenue of $130 billion. So these are huge firms. And why are they winning? Right now they control a vast market share of the auditing of large companies. Pretty much they mostly audit all the large companies that are out there at the moment. They also control 40% of the management consulting market, which within that includes work that they do for those they audit. So that creates an independence issue there. Right now, collectively, they're growing at a rate of 10% per year, which is greater than China within itself, which is a huge issue, which is so massive. And they started moving into legal, marketing, and infotech domains. So they're fully branching out into all these different areas. But if they're winning, how are they winning considering all the problems that they're facing currently? So for that, they have a lot of high-profile collapse of their clients. So because they control the market share of auditing of these large companies, lately they've provided unqualified audit opinions for companies like the Lehman Brothers, Bear Stearns, etc., who have currently just recently collapsed, obviously in 2009. And there's been questions going on, how couldn't they see this trouble coming? There's a growing lack of trust, and that comes through that expectation gap that arises. And that happens when there's a gap between what people expect auditors to do and what they actually do. People expect auditors to be able to uncover all these issues, where they just don't have the skills to be able to uncover bankruptcy or all the complexities that lie with a whole business when they're auditing their financial statements. Not even companies themselves know the complete trueness of their exposure. Within that, there's also many court cases they come up against. KPMG against the tax shelter case, where they nearly had a $456 million fine that they've recently got out of, or PwC, who had their $5.5 billion lawsuit against them in 2009. In the case of KPMG, they were seen as it would be such a bad thing to reduce the already small competition of these Big Four. There's been a lot of independence questioning as well regarding the fact that all the management consulting stuff has been happening, as well as having to audit their own work. So there's been that independence questioning. And overall, there's been a call for them to break up the Big Four instead of cutting them down, splitting them up. So US regulators were seeing there's two different ways of doing this, splitting them into the multidisciplinary firms or spinning off the management consulting areas so that there'll be these audit-only firms that'll have their independence back. For these breakups, the firms realize and they agree that there's a level of conflict that management consulting is bringing. And they agree to the need for the conflict to get rid of for their stakeholders to trust them again. And that really resonates with the stakeholder theory, and it shows how their stakeholder environment is actually changing. And so their stakeholders are becoming more aware of this growing lack of independence. And so what the auditors are going to do is try to change their strategies to maximize the utility of their stakeholders, which is pretty much illustrated through stakeholder theory research. And they recognize that unlike banks, they aren't crucial to the financial system and public confidence, and they don't have the deep pockets that the banks have. So they can easily just be gotten rid of compared to having to shut down an entire bank, which could cause havoc. So how will they try to keep on winning? They see themselves as having to disrupt before the competition does, disrupt themselves, take initiative. And they can really need to adapt to the growing demands of the stakeholders and regulators compared to just sitting back and letting all these things continuously happen, because they do realize that they need to change.